'Cause these are my people, and this is my land. This is my land. This is what we pray for.
Using nefarious intent network.
Well, you've talked about password.
In an attempt to keep it hidden.
You won't understand. You won't understand. This is my country.
Strong intuitive sense is that having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization.
But you've described yourself.
I don't care about the economics at all.
Okay, that's
Not too long ago, I covered the potential Twitter buyout proposed by Elon Musk. I won't rehash everything I said in that previous video. Most of it isn't relevant anymore anyway, but the basic overview is that Elon Musk systematically acquired about 9% of the company in early 2022. This acquisition was a calculated move to influence company dynamics, and after some back and forth on whether or not Elon Musk would actually join Twitter's board of directors, some say this was driven by Twitter attempting to mitigate further action, others say it was a mind game by Elon Musk to buy himself more time. I honestly don't know. After all that, and more, it was made clear that Elon Musk was actually going to make a push at acquiring the company. This process, generally speaking, is not an easy thing to do. Buyouts for multi-billion-dollar companies are quite complicated, but after issuing what amounts to a financially hostile takeover notice, also called a bear hug in the stock world, Twitter responded by using a poison pill strategy. For those that don't know, the poison pill defense is a tactic to make acquisition of a company far more expensive than it was previously by issuing new shares at a certain threshold of ownership, I believe is how it works. In this case, if Elon Musk surpassed, I think, 15% control of the company, there would be a massive offering of new shares to current investors, which would have widespread impact on the company's market cap and share price. The poison pill is a very risky, very aggressive strategy that Twitter landed on almost immediately. However, in a series of breakneck pace questionable developments in all this, that strategy did not last long, because Elon Musk decided to hint at a tender offer, an offer aimed at the holders of a public company's stock, with the intention to elicit sales during a specific period of time at a significant market premium. I'm not completely positive on why the distinction is made. His original $54.20 offering also seemed to be fundamentally a tender offer, but with further hints by Musk to that end, it seemed more likely that he would push this bid to the extreme, thus triggering the poison pill, and ultimately Twitter agreed to the buyout at a price of $54.20. 420 is the meme, with certain criteria attached as well. That's basically our starting point for today. Elon Musk began to acquire stock, used that stock to gain leverage, had a back and forth with the company, which in my opinion very much seemed to contain veiled financial threats. Twitter responded with an aggressive and risky strategy. Musk didn't back down, and Twitter folded. That's essentially how it looks, at least to me from the outside. So what else has happened? I'm not even really sure where to begin here because the whole thing is a radioactive and highly volatile situation, but I guess I'll start with what some are calling conspiracy and others are calling justice. In the mere days that have transpired since the public announcement of Twitter's impending buyout, conservative accounts have seen massive follower growth. Now, you may say, oh, that's just a coincidence, or oh, probably not that much, but let me just showcase this. I'll start with Donald Trump Jr. Now, keep in mind, nothing I say right now has anything to do with political inclination or endorsement. I am simply looking at numbers and showcasing the reality of what is going on. Donald Trump Jr., since the buyout hit mainstream news, has gained over 200,000 followers. In less than 1 day, he stands at net positive 119,000. That's 1 day. Well, half a day, actually, which is about 30 times higher than his average before all this. For the sake of time, I'm going to speed through these next ones, and I know that it may feel repetitive in a minute here, but I'm trying to demonstrate just how widespread the trend really is. Governor Ron DeSantis from Florida, conservative, over 200,000 followers gained in the past 2 days alone, 20 to 30 times his average. Tucker Carlson, conservative television host, Fox News, 140,000 followers in the past 48 hours, 200 to 300 times higher than his recent averages. Steven Crowder, conservative comedian and host. Bit of a difference with a gap between the 25th and the 27th, but in less than 1 day, up 50,000 followers before noon, 20 to 30 times his average. Tim Pool, conservative podcaster and YouTuber, and also I would love to go on Timcast if you ever see this dude, up 60,000 followers in 2 days, 10 to 20 times his average. Lauren Boebert, 100,000 in 2 days. Matt Gaetz, 60,000 in 2 days. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, these are all conservative politicians, by the way, 100,000 in 2 days when she only even had 500,000 before that. Ben Shapiro, owner of the Daily Wire, 100,000 in 2 days, with a spike before that as well of 45,000. Dana Loesch, 20,000 in 2 days, when her previous average was maybe a couple hundred, if that. Sean Hannity, almost 100,000. Rep Jim Jordan, over 100,000. Leo Terrell, over 80,000. And the list goes on and on and on. However, this trend is not isolated to just one side of the political aisle. It may be easy to say a rising tide lifts all boats here and come to the conclusion that a massive increase in news coverage of Twitter has generated a torrent of fresh accounts, and that's probably true to a degree. But if you look at left-leaning politicians, television hosts, and public figures, you see the inverse. AOC, notorious left-leaning politician, down almost 40,000 followers in the past 2 days. VP Kamala Harris, down over 16,000, after being net positive every single day before that in the thousands. Elizabeth Warren, over 20,000 down. Bernie Sanders, negative 22,000. Hillary Clinton, negative 20,000. And this extends as a mirror image all the way to CNN hosts like Brian Stelter and Don Lemon, as well as countless more over the past 2 days.
Pop culture has touted Elon Musk as some sort of eccentric heavyweight genius with humble beginnings. But this is demonstrably false. Elon Musk was born in South Africa, where he claims he grew up extremely poor, but his family owned an emerald mine. As a teenager, Elon would trade emeralds for cash in New York City, and his father bragged how they had so much money we couldn't even close our safe. Musk claims to have had about $100,000 of student loan debt, but he received a full scholarship to the University of Pennsylvania, where he bought a 10-bedroom frat house with his friend Adeo Resi and ran an illegal nightclub. The pop culture claim is that Elon has an IQ of 155, but this has never been tested, and after being accepted into Stanford for PhD studies, he dropped out after 2 days. After dropping out, Elon began his first business venture with his brother Kimball, Zip2, which was essentially a digital version of the Yellow Pages. The brothers received tens of thousands of dollars from their parents, and yet Elon denies this. An associate of Elon's father, Greg Curry, got involved to bring in investors. But Elon's code was no good, so they had to hire on professional coders to rewrite everything. Zip2 was then sold for $307 million to Compaq, who later shut it down without ever earning a profit. Elon made $22 million, bought a $1 million McLaren F1 supercar, which made mainstream news, before he totaled the uninsured vehicle. Musk then went on to create an online bank, X.com. He partnered with banking expert Harris Fricker, Edward Ho, and Christopher Payne. All three ended up leaving the company after accusing Elon of lying to the media about the quality of their product. Elon claims he founded PayPal. Before the company was named PayPal, it was known as Confinity. It was founded in 1998 by Peter Thiel and Max Levchin. After losing millions of dollars, Elon's X.com was bought by Confinity in a merger in 2000. All Musk contributed at Confinity was his own power struggle. He made himself CEO and pushed to change the name to X.com. The executive team successfully petitioned to fire Musk while he was away on vacation. Part of Musk's resignation agreement stipulated that all references to founders of the company will be removed from their website, allowing Elon to claim credit, which so far is all he has ever achieved. Peter Thiel then rebranded the company as PayPal, went public, and sold to eBay for $1.5 billion. Elon made $180 million from the deal, which he then invested into Tesla, SpaceX, and failed company SolarCity. Elon falsely claims to be the founder of Tesla. Tesla was founded in 2003 by Mark Tarpenning and Martin Eberhard, who developed the Tesla Roadster. When Tesla Motors began looking for venture capital, they approached Elon Musk, who had the fake credibility as PayPal's co-founder. Musk joined with the condition that he be named chairman of the board. In emails, Musk was upset that the media was not giving him credit for Tesla Motors and went after Martin Eberhard, replacing him as CEO. He then forced Eberhard out of the company and rewrote the company's history to have himself listed as an original co-founder. Martin Eberhard, the man behind the Tesla Roadster, was promised the first Roadster off the assembly line, but Musk screwed him over on that as well and sent that car into space.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
So who is Elon Musk? Elon describes his father as being an evil, abusive man. His father, Elon Musk, has been accused of being a pedophile and fathered a child with his stepdaughter, who is 42 years younger than him. This spoiled, narcissistic failure, son of accused pedophile, wants to put computer chips in everyone's brain so that we can merge with artificial intelligence. His girlfriend is now bragging how this could all lead to a communist utopia. And strangely enough, former Nazi and head of NASA, Wernher von Braun, predicted a man named Elon would conquer Mars in a 1952 novel that he wrote. Which is odd, because NASA has partnered with Elon's SpaceX to work towards colonizing Mars. Elon Musk, like everything else in today's modern society, is a fraud, a fake genius, just like fake philanthropist Bill Gates and his fake vaccines. Brought to you by the fake news. Here's a pro tip for dealing with the mainstream media and all of pop culture. Assume it's a lie and research everything. Bread and circuses comes from an ancient Roman poet describing how the people are governed, not by excellence in public service, but by food and distractions, like a herd of livestock. Today's circuses can be found on Twitter, a reflection of the human herd's short attention span. Meaningless distractions to keep everyone calm while their food supply is being destroyed. While fools joke about Biden doing a horrible job, his administration is doing such an efficient job of destroying America that anyone running in 2024, if there is an election, will have to run on the Build Back Better platform. Starvation has been used as a weapon of mass destruction for years. In just a 2-year period, Stalin's communist government murdered over 3 million people in Ukraine by simply pulling the strings of bureaucracy, sanctions. The Ethiopian counterinsurgency burned crops and food stores, airily bombed food markets, and restricted trade. They then began a resettlement plan that killed at least 80,000 people, with further starvation. The U.S. State Department murdered over 500,000 women and children in Iraq, with starvation by sanctions. And this is exactly what is happening in America today. The Biden administration's sanctions against Russia are only succeeding at killing more innocent people all over the world by dramatically cutting down the worldwide food supply. There is already a significant wheat, fuel, and fertilizer shortage, which is obviously going to affect everything else, starting with fresh produce and livestock. But in order to completely collapse the food economy, they'll have to start destroying food packing plants as well, so that there is nothing left on the shelves for you to eat.
There have been confirmed over a dozen disabling accidents at food plants in the last month, over a dozen.
Absolutely, and we're talking about some really significant plants. The Taylor Farms facility in Salinas, California was completely destroyed by a fire last week. We've had 2 major potato processing plants in Belfast, Maine and Warden, Washington that were completely gutted, which is happening at a time where we already have a potato shortage globally. You were talking about the onion supply at that Rio Fresh, but it's not just produce plants. Last month there was a fire that took out a Nestle food plant out in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and that's impacting frozen food brands like Hot Pockets or Stouffer's, which maybe you might buy if you can't get fresh food from a warehouse that just exploded.
Those still satiated with their bread and circuses are soon going to start getting hungry. And it's because America is under siege, being destroyed from within by a corrupt government, while the people seek fairness on Twitter. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
'Cause these are my people, and this is my land. This is my land. This is what we pray for, and this is God's plan. This is God's plan. And if you ain't from here, then you won't understand. You won't understand. This is my country, and this is who I am.